Hi guys, welcome. Today I want to talk about choosing your hard. What is difficult and making that choice, and how we do this every day. How we make choices and each of them is hard, but sometimes we wish we had made the other choice, even though that would be difficult as well. For example, being in shape is hard, but being overweight is also hard. Being in debt is difficult, but being financially disciplined is also very difficult. Or staying in a committed, healthy relationship, that's a difficult thing to do. Breaking up with someone, also hard. So it's about choosing your hard. What difficult thing is worth the choice? Clearly, it's better to make the difficult choice about being financially disciplined rather than being in debt. Everyone knows that. But yet, why are so many more people in debt rather than being financially disciplined? The difficulty is different, but why? Everybody knows that you should pick the hard choice of being fit, but yet so many people pick the difficult choice of being overweight. Why? And we can go through any list you want. And so you think, well, people are lazy. Maybe. People are just bored or don't care. Sure. My opinion is that we don't have good habits. It's the key to everything. Not everything, but a lot of things. I love the book called Power of Habit. I also made a video about it, but it's one of my first ones, so quality might not be great. Anyway, I love this whole idea where things are just made easier if you just make it into a habit. However, you have to do some hard work beforehand. So I'm going to talk about these hard choices and categories for a minute and help you realize how we can make some good habits to make the better choice. Difficult, yes, but better. I'm going to explain why one is kind of easier to pick, even though you know you should pick the other. All right, so even though I'm going to be talking about habits, go watch my habit video or go look over the habit loop or read the book, Power of Habit, because I started to explain it in those terms and this video would have been like an hour long. So I'm going to kind of streamline it a little bit. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difficult choice of being fit and the difficult choice of being out of shape and overweight. All right. The reason why most people are here, because the initial choice, the initial action is easy. It's the regret afterward that's difficult. The reason why most people don't choose this is because to start it, your mind is saying, no, don't, just don't. And so you don't. All right, so these unhealthy habits that you have, maybe overeating or eating too much fast food or not moving your body, you've got to change those bad habits because you ultimately feel guilty about it or just regret or just like, I wish I would have done better. All right, so you got to think, why do I overeat? Is it an emotional thing? Is it just that's what's on my plate? Why didn't you move? Why did you choose Netflix or social media? I mean, were you bored? Did your mind just need to stop for a moment? Okay. You got to change the routine. The trigger's always going to be there. You're always going to be hungry. You're always going to be sad. You're always going to be, fill in the blank. You just got to change what you do afterwards. Okay. Then in order to make this hard choice, that's the better choice over here, you got to figure out, okay, this is the habit that I want to create. I want to create a habit where I'm working out, where I'm moving my body, where I'm choosing apples over chips, and then you got to figure out what's the trigger? What can help me start it? Well, what do you already do in your day? Do you brush your teeth? Okay, right after you brush your teeth, go work out. at the grocery store. Instead of buying the chips, buy the apples instead, so you literally have no other choice. Or, so you got to find the trigger. What can help you do that? If you just are like, oh, my mind will say, do it, then you are wrong. Your mind will never tell you to just do it. Your mind is always going to talk you out of it because it wants to do something easy, okay? Or it's, that inner demon, Satan guy on your shoulder, not wanting you to be better. All right, so find something that can drive you to do the routine so you don't have to think about it. So it's not as difficult. Because again, both of them are hard choices, but one is the better choice. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is, building a skill, talent, rather than wasting time on social media. All right, you have this hard choice of getting off of social media. You're on it way too much and you know it, but it's so easy. But then you live with regret after, okay? And then we have this other choice over here of, doing something productive. Building a skill, building a talent, connecting with people, anything, fill in the blank over here. All right, so you got to figure out, I have this habit of pushing the social media button when I'm bored, when I'm sad, when I'm anything, fill in the blank, that's when you push the button, okay? So now you got to change it. What's the trigger? Boredom. Instead of going to your phone, do something else. Or pull out your phone and push the journal app or the music app, something other than social media. Again, because social media is designed to keep you there for a really long time. It's not the better choice. So now we got to figure out how to make the better choice, all right? Again, what's a trigger? Maybe the boredom. So instead of pushing the button, go practice the piano. Instead of, when you're bored, instead of pushing the button, create. Let yourself be bored for a minute. Because if you're thinking, I don't know what skill or talent to build, it's because your mind has been too occupied on social media to figure out what it actually wants to do. So be bored for a minute and then figure it out. And once you figure it out, do it. Figure out the steps to do it. Go talk to someone about it and do it. All right, it's all about the triggers. You got to figure out what's your trigger. Is it boredom? Is it sadness? Is it, I don't know. Why else would you push the social media button? Oh, I want connection. It's not real connection. Go call a friend. Go talk to your parents. All right, so find out the trigger to make the choice a little bit easier. All right, next thing. It is difficult to be in debt. It is difficult to be disciplined with your money. You're out with your friends, man. That's the trigger. You just want to go have fun, so you just spend. All right? Change the trigger. You're out with your friends. Give a different suggestion. Go do something else that's not as expensive or doesn't cost anything. Or sometimes it could be an emotional state. I'm sad or anxious, so I want to shop. And then I'm in debt, and unhappiness eventually, even though the initial reward is nice. But 10 minutes later, you're like, suck. Or when the bill comes, you're like, dang it. All right? What's the trigger? Sadness, emotional, anxious state. Okay, instead of go to shopping, go talk with a friend, And then after a month happens and you don't shop as much, you don't spend as much, then you look at the money and be like, oh man, I can save this for a future purchase. I can save this for a better purchase, or I can just save it for college, for a car. Have cheap cars, whatever. You can see the fruits of your labor, and it can inspire you. Okay, don't let it burn a hole in your pocket. All right. Oh, I've been given $100 for my birthday. What am I going to do with it? Get it out of sight, out of mind. Hold on to it. You don't have to spend right away. That could also be a trigger. Like one of the bad triggers, like I've been given money, so I have to spend it because that's just the habit that's created. Okay. Trigger, given money, save it. Put it somewhere else. Put it out of your sight. All right, this next topic is a little bit difficult to talk about because most of you are teenagers. But I want to talk about relationships. Being in a committed relationship is hard. Divorcing, breaking up, hard. All right? I don't want to talk about abuse, okay? That's not what this video is about, okay? We're talking about, normal, relatively healthy people, deciding to stay, deciding to break up, all right? If you are in a committed relationship, aka married, you need to work for your marriage. You get into bad habits of this is just routine, oh, we're roommates, da da da. You have to actively work on the relationship. You have to actively focus on your partner in order to make it successful. And it is difficult, but it is worth it. Okay? But if you are not in a committed relationship and you're like, young, go out and date, all right? So if you're thinking, oh, I need to break up with someone, but that's hard, you have to think of long term. Do I want to be in a relationship that I'm not really happy because I'm afraid of making this person unhappy for a little while? All right, you just kind of have to do it. It's not really about a habit. Being in a successful relationship, that's, creating the thoughtful process, getting out of the habits. But in order to break up with someone, it's just, you gotta do it in order for your future self to find happiness or whatever. Anyway, I'm struggling to find words to talk about relationships with teenagers because I don't want you to think that you should stay in a relationship that you're in because you're young. You should be dating a lot, all right? You shouldn't have to hyper focus on your partner when you're a teenager. That's not what teenage relationships are about. It's about, finding qualities that you actually like so that when you are looking for that permanent partner, you can find those qualities. Anyway, sidetracked, whatever. And that was a life lesson with Lindsey. So I know that video was long and I hope to help a little bit. It was just, we have difficult choices all the time. But there are better choices, even though it seems so hard. However, if we can make some habits, it makes it less hard. So I hope this helped. Peace out. Bye.